Wow, what a game. What a game. Diego Pavia, Eli Stowers. This offense was electric in this overtime win against the Auburn Tigers, man. Let's talk about it.
You are Locked On Vandy, your daily podcast on the Vanderbilt Commodores, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday night. Happy Saturday college football night. We are live. It is the Locked On Vandy podcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, the number one sports podcast network in all the land. So we are reacting to this game. This game was thrilling. This game was exciting, exhausting, all in the same. It was one of these type rides. But man, Diego Pavia, Eli Stowers, Tre Richardson, Junior Sherrill, they all made plays offensively. Diego Pavia was electric. Accounted for 489 total yards and 4 touchdowns in this game, coming off back-to-back weeks where he's thrown over 300 yards. This week he rushed over 100 yards. He accounted for 4 of Vanderbilt's touchdowns. Defense got off to a rough start. We'll talk about that, but they held on. They made plays when they had to. And in the grand scheme of things, that's really all that matters. And I would love to talk about how the defense got off to a rough start and a win than a loss, obviously. But we're going to talk about that. Eli Stowers, he's here, right? He had 12 catches on the night. Tre Richardson had 2 more yards than he did. But, again, this offense, they found something, man. And it's very, very exciting. That's kind of where I want to start is with this offense and just kind of the flow of the game. And again, we're live, so your comments, I'll look at all your comments throughout the game. Again, 45-38, your final. But, man, the story of this game is just, this is such a complimentary team, right? A couple weeks ago against Missouri, offense struggled pretty good. Missouri was able to do a lot of things in shutting down Pavia in the offense, and the defense came through. Well, the defense has struggled the last couple of games. And the offense is like, hey, don't worry, we got you. In the Texas game, they ran out of time. They just too little too late. This game was they held on. They went punch for punch with Auburn. Auburn looked like a totally different team than they did a week ago against Kentucky. I would have never thought a team that looked that pitiful against Kentucky after firing Hugh Freeze would make such a 180 and look like what they look like tonight. But here we are. They did. Vanderbilt responded. They won in overtime. Probably shouldn't have gone to overtime, but hey, you know what? Water under the bridge there. I didn't love the call to go for it. That's something else I'll discuss. But man, again, just such an exciting game. And like I said, coming off the heels of the Texas game, like this offense has found an element that they are starting to really get into. They're playing with a little bit more tempo. They're throwing the ball down the field now. They found Eli Stowers. He had 12 catches for 122. Last week he had 7 catches for 146. He scored twice last week, and it's an offense that's evolving and showing this other dimension, right? And it's an offense that where you looked at it at once before was ball control, keep it on the ground, inconsistent passing game, like not really sure what receivers are gonna emerge. And even throughout the season, you're like, okay, well, we're winning just by grinding the clock down. We're hitting explosives in the run game. We're hitting a couple pass plays. We're doing enough. And then all of a sudden, these last 2 games, the offense has kind of just exploded into this passing game. And now they're just dynamic. And this offense is just, Pavia is, I think he's trying to keep himself in the Heisman race. I think he's making a great case for it. So maybe he's back on, right? Maybe it's back on. I don't know how much the loss to Texas will keep that at bay, but the numbers he's starting to put up now are starting to kind of make up for it, right? And yes, my nerves are shot too, because that first half had me like, oh God, tackling is pitiful. This defense, they're just not getting it. And this Auburn defense is going to be good enough to, if Vanderbilt doesn't score every single time they touch the ball. Like this team's going to be in trouble. Here we go. But again, this offense they just kicked it into a different gear again. And they did it more consistently this game versus the Texas game where they struggled to launch, and it was kind of concerning. But man, it was, I mean, they have the all-time series lead now against Auburn too. That's pretty crazy when you think about it. And I have to say it again, Pavia needs to be in the Heisman talk again. Yes, Nate. Crazy game. I mean, this is the second straight game where he's had over 400 yards total offense and almost 400 total yards in the Texas game. I'll have to go back and look at that. But it's I'll take a win how I can get it, honestly. It's hard to criticize that game. I mean, I'm sure there's things you can look at and say, hey, that's concerning. This needs improving. That needs improving. But again, against a defense that's really stingy against the run, Vanderbilt found ways through the air to really attack this Auburn defense, and that's the most impressive thing. I mean, you had, like I said, the numbers don't lie on this. You had Tre Richardson, not Trent. Trent's probably enjoying his NFL retirement somewhere, but Tre Richardson, 3 catches, 124 and a touchdown. Eli Stowers, 12 catches, 122. Junior Sherrill, 4 for 75 with a touchdown. And Cole Spence, 1 huge catch for 4 yards and a touchdown right there in overtime, which was, might I say, one of the best freaking play calls I've seen all year. Everybody just collapsed on the run. They were thinking Pavia was going to pull it and try to get the edge. They were ready for it, but he just dumped it right over the top to Cole Spence. And right there, touchdown. And again, this team just continues to amaze me with the things that they do and just kind of the way they just operate. Like the Texas game showed that, hey, even though they came out on the wrong end of it, it showed that they had that fight in them. And that fight was going to come in handy at some point. Well, it came in handy this week against Auburn. So that's something that they were able to finally get. So Holy Auburn, both teams scored more than double what I thought they would. Yeah, I think they were very close to doubling the over-under. I don't think they were too far away from that. And Vanderbilt covered the over-under by themselves with 45 points. They were half point away from the over-under that was originally set. But I mean, it's crazy. Like you go into this game with like supposedly two really good defenses, 2 ball control offenses. One didn't know what their identity was. The other was, trying to find their way in the passing game and wasn't sure if what happened at Texas was just a result of the situation or was it something that they found and was able to be successful with. Well, I think we got that answer now with this performance. Like I said, Pavia, 377 yards through the air. And he also had 112 on the ground. And, man, it was electric. So, anchor down, we don't care. Yeah, let's just keep steamrolling. 8-2, heading into the bye week. Then you got Kentucky up next, followed by Tennessee. I mean, let's just keep the train rolling, right? Anchor down, we believe. Yes, I believe as well. But Stu, yeah, it's great, man. And they're, again, that was a really good Auburn team. That's the Auburn team that Auburn fans had wanted to see all year long. And I wasn't sure. And the reason why I thought we'd win this game, and we ultimately did, not for the reasons that I thought we would, but the reasons coming into this game that I thought Vanderbilt would pull this game out was because of the uncertainty offensively for Auburn. You just weren't sure what you were going to get. Derek Nix, the play caller, Ashton Daniels, his previous action wasn't anything to write home about. And it was you just didn't know. And this defense, you didn't know if they could hang with that. Well, the defense didn't hang with that. The offense, they were electric too, but outlasted all that good stuff. So, how long was the game? I felt like it was there while later games had already ended. Yeah, I mean the game went on. I don't know the official time. It was probably. I mean that game started at 3. It ended at, so it was a 4-hour game with overtime. So That game was crazy. Pavia will at least be in New York. I mean, I think with these last two performances, and if Vanderbilt can win the next two games, I think he absolutely will be invited. Like I think he's back in the conversation. Now, whether or not he's going to win, that's a different story because you got Ty Simpson, you got Fernando Mendoza out there. I mean, you know Mendoza. I think with his game earlier today, I think he's kind of starting to take a foothold in that conversation. But it's great. It's great to have him back in the conversation because we thought that was going to be kind of dead and gone. But 8-2. What would you say if someone told me we were here before the season started? I would tell you that I'd believe it. I mean, I'm crazier than most when it comes to my view of this team because I just have this ultimate confidence, and a lot of people, I share the same confidence that our quarterback shares, and I know a lot of people aren't used to that, but I'm surprised at how we got here more so than us being in this position, right? Because I wasn't sure about Texas, but I did, the two losses that I was thinking we were going to come away with what were the two losses that we did lose, Alabama and Texas. And then I thought LSU was going to be a toss-up. Missouri was going to be a toss-up. Won both of those games. I was confident about Auburn because I just didn't believe in Hugh Freeze. And definitely didn't think Hugh Freeze was going to be fired before the start of the game. So there's that. But we're going to continue reacting to this game because this offense has just found something special. Like this team has found something special. We're going to continue to react to this game right after this. First, I want to tell you about DoorDash. And who delivered, right? So it is the weekend. It's time to crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash Streaks, saving more every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down. For Vanderbilt, there's a lot of choices, but I think there's one obvious one. It's Diego Pavia delivered in a big way. Accounting for 489 yards of total offense and 4 touchdowns. And really just series in and series out, just leading this team down the field time in and time again. It's Diego Pavia, man, and he's the heart and soul of this team. You can tell the guys believe in him. They go and make plays, crucial third downs, all that stuff, and unbelievable on all parts. Eli Stowers contribute to it. Tre Richardson and Junior Sherrill all came through. And Diego Pavia came through, no hesitation, no delay. And if you've been watching week after week, this performance was no fluke. Diego Pavia is on a streak. And just like Diego Pavia delivered for the Vanderbilt Commodores, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays. With DoorDash Streaks, you save every Saturday you order. Stack it up all season. You could save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo period good through 11/18. All right, thanks for making Locked On Vandy your first listen each and every day. Thank you for being a part of the #1 sports podcasting network in the market. We appreciate you, and it's because of you that makes this happen. So thank you for all that you do in supporting not only me, but this network as well. So continue to talk about this game, man. Like let's talk about the start of it, right? And yes, Auburn was supposed to have the best defense. And I think the elements, so I'll leave this up here. Stu, I think to answer this question is like this. And the answer to this question kind of follows the progression of the game, right? Because what Vanderbilt is best at is what Auburn's defense is best at stopping. Auburn is not so great versus the pass. They've had trouble with the pass, but they've been able to hold teams because teams can't really get to their passing game because their front is so good and they get into these predictable situations and they can't get themselves out. So what Vanderbilt was able to do was Vanderbilt was able to be dynamic enough and protect well enough that Diego Pavia could make some things happen with his arm. And also, I think Auburn's defense wasn't rushing as hard because of what because of what he's able to do with his legs. And I think when you let a guy like Diego Pavia sit back there, he can be accurate. And if you rush him too hard, which they did in a couple of occasions, he can slip through that and get some big chunk yardage as well. That's how they were able to get things going through the run game. I mean, the run game was tough sledding. Let's just be honest with you. We knew that was going to be the case coming in. So as Vanderbilt was able to understand that, they stayed with the run game long enough and frequently enough that they could get some things going in the passing game, that they could make some big chunk plays in the passing game. And that's something they've been working on as far as developing that passing attack. And I think down the stretch, this is where it's going to come in handy. Earlier in the season, they were able to win with run game. They were able to win with adequate passing. Now teams are starting to stop them, and they're just flinging the ball all around the yard, and it's getting exciting. So there's turning into an offense that's going to start to be unstoppable, because you're going to go against teams now in Kentucky and Tennessee that aren't really good defensively stopping either. Like, Kentucky can frustrate you a little bit, but they're not really going to be able to stop you. And Tennessee, if you've watched them, they can't stop it. They can't stop a nosebleed. They can score with the best of them. Like, you may want to smash the over with Vanderbilt, Tennessee, because that game's going to go back and forth, and they're going to test every bulb in that scoreboard. But, this offense has really just found that next dimension, and Auburn was not ready for that. So that's kind of what – it's kind of a combination of both. Like, they shut us down, but we were able to find things in the passing game to be able to still score. Our defense was sus tonight. Auburn's receivers are legit. Yeah, our defense was – see, if our defense played like this against Texas, we'd have won that game. And I wouldn't say this defense was good tonight. They were bad with a few plays that they made. They were overall bad, but they made enough plays when it mattered that it didn't matter how bad they were, if that makes any sense whatsoever. And if they did that against Texas, because they were dreadful against Texas. They didn't do anything until like halfway through the fourth quarter against Texas. If they were just bad against Texas, win that game. But, I digress. Let's talk about right here. This is a perfect comment for what I'm about to say. The decision to go for it on fourth down in regulation. Now, I don't know what Clark Lee was seeing in his defense at that point to make that decision. But I like the aggressiveness. I like the confidence in that you can get it. I don't know that Diego, if he doesn't slip, I don't know if he gets it regardless. He had a chance. He tripped, yeah. It's hard to say he had a chance because it looked like that edge guy had an angle on him and had a chance of stopping him, but maybe not. If he doesn't trip, maybe we win that game in regulation. But nonetheless, I didn't completely love the play call. I don't know what you do in that situation when you can't really run all that well. That's a hard play call. It's a tough play call there, 4th and 2, right there in regulation, because their defense is just so fast sideline to sideline. I don't know what you do there. I don't hate the decision to go for it because, you're Vanderbilt. Like, just go for it, dude. Just like, let's go get this thing, right? Don't go into overtime. I get the thought behind it. And a lot of people are probably going to disagree with me there. But it was – I didn't love the play call. But if it was me, though, I probably would have kicked the field goal to go up. But I don't dislike the decision to go for it. I dislike more so the play call when you do it. I mean, you put it in your best player's hands, of course. He trips, but you're running against a defense that's really good laterally and really good downhill against the run. So it's a tough play call in a tough situation. So me personally, I don't know that I would have gone for it, but I'm not going to hammer Clark Lee for going for it because I do like the aggressiveness. I do like the confidence that you have in your quarterback and the confidence that you have in your defense to go get that. He trusted his defense to go get that. He said, okay, go get it. Go win it for me. Go make me right. And they did, right? But yeah, this is also, we proved that we could spread teams out. That's for dang sure. Anchor down to you too as well. Love this one. I'm 64, and this is the happiest I've ever been for the entire season. Wins over the Vols are always delightful, but the season is taking us to the promised land. Yeah, it's lining up. It's lining up to be a pretty special season. Just got to finish it off, right? Just got to take these lessons. Much needed bye week, I think. Get some guys rested up. It was a pretty tough gauntlet there of games coming into this bye week. But again, this team there's something special. There's something special about this team. I mean, there just is, and I'm very, very excited about what we have here. He didn't trust the defense to make a stop if we did kick it. I don't know. It was one way, half dozen another. Because if Diego Pavia doesn't trip and he ends up getting the yards, and you win the game, like, he looks like a genius. You lose the game, he looks like a moron. But all in all, it's the same decision. Like, you're putting some risk out there, and I do like that because it shows his team. He's like, you know what? We're going to go get it. He's been preaching that. He's been preaching aggressiveness. He's been preaching all that. He said, hey, let's go get it. If I'm wrong, you got my back, right? I got your back. You got my back. I'll wear this one if we're wrong, is what he was thinking. And Diego's like, hey, I'll go get it for you. He didn't get it, but the defense picked him up. And then Diego said, okay, overtime, Coach Lee, I got you. And he goes out and just rips the ball down the field. Scores. The defense is like, Diego, great play. We got you. And they make the stop. They win the game. And that's how it is. And that's how it is. But, yeah, so we were going to kick, feel and miss it, and then let them go down and score. Yeah, I think if you kick it and miss it, I think the momentum swings back to Auburn, and they go down and either kick it or whatever. But I think Auburn was still so shaken. They'd used all their timeouts, so I don't think they were used to that situation of I just don't think they were really good in that 2-minute situation where they knew they had no timeouts and they were kind of scrambling, and Daniels you could tell he was a little bit flustered trying to hurry and things like that. Like you could just tell, right? But defense got stops when it mattered. You're dang right. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to fix. Quick game, screens, getting gashed in the run game. Like, there's a lot out there for this defense to fix. But what doesn't need fixing is their toughness, their heart, their resolve, all of that, their resiliency, their ability to bounce back. Like, that doesn't need fixing because they did plenty of that. But the things there's things you can fix to make things less stressful on you, for sure. We're going to talk about some of those things, and we're going to wrap up here next. All right, our friends at FanDuel, we want to remind you that when the opening, actually, if you took the under, this is a free ad for FanDuel. Go play. But I really want to talk to you about Supply House, because when the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with Supply House. Order today, see the parts on your doorstep by tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side covered. Need parts fast for a project? Supply House has next-day delivery. Talk about a game changer. The part finder tools and 3D schematics can save you hours on jobs where every detail matters. Their Trademaster perks like priority shipping and dedicated support make the whole process smoother. So join the free Trademaster program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use promo code SHCollege5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. All right, we are back here. It's a live edition, live reaction show. Vanderbilt victorious in overtime, 45-38. Not quite the blasting I thought it was going to happen, but they win in a shootout. No one expected it, but Diego Pavia comes through again. Pavia just thrusts himself, like catapults himself. I'm trying to think of some pretty like beefy verbs here. He catapults himself back into the Heisman discussions. Not only did he win that game to do it, he had the stats to back it up. It wasn't some like 160 yards and 89 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns to win this game. No, he put up some real numbers, some real quarterback numbers. And that's the exciting part about what Diego Pavia is doing. He is starting to, like, this team, this offense is starting to improve their passing game as we make this stretch run and try to make this playoff run. Like, it is, we're approaching that right now. Richardson had 124 yards on 3 catches. And he also had a touchdown himself. So absolutely. He had that one long touchdown. It was how many yards? I'm looking it up. It was a 57-yard touchdown reception. He had an average of 41 yards per play. Like I said, 3 catches, 124 yards. He was the big play guy. So again, the progression of this game was unreal. And it was a game where I think a lot of people on both sides thought, on one side it was more like, oh crap, here we go. Here goes the Texas game again. Myself included. I was like, defense didn't come ready to play. Really didn't show up, honestly, in the first couple of series. And I was starting to believe, like, if we don't score every time we touch the ball, we have no shot. I was starting to kind of believe that. And the defense gave me plenty of reasons to believe that. And the offense didn't really do much to disprove that to a certain point. They were moving the ball well, but they couldn't finish drives. And all of a sudden, something clicked. And the offense is like, you know what? We're going to go score. So they did. And then we scored again. And then all of a sudden, we come out of halftime, and it's like, bam, answer the bell. Get it to within 3. And then you nudge it ahead. And then Auburn nudges it ahead by 6. Then you go ahead by 1, and then you trade punches. And then all of a sudden, this offense was just up and down the field. And Auburn's offense was up and down the field. And then just a couple stops here, a couple stops there. We're in overtime. And then you have 4 really good plays defensively to go win the game. The play call on that 4th down to stop Auburn on the last play of the game, I thought was brilliant. And I thought CJ Hurd bounced back in a big way. I got to give him some props. He bounced back. I think Mate had a really nice night, crushed Ashton Daniels on one of those blitzes. And he was pretty good. He was really good. I thought he was much improved from what he was. The Texas game, I thought he had a horrible game. And I thought he bounced back. And so I appreciate that. And I appreciate his effort, and I appreciate him not. And he's an SEC player. He didn't hang his head, none of that. He showed some resolve, and he went out there and he did it. So hats off to him, I think, for bouncing back in a big way. But his deception on that last play was really good. And play calling on defense was bad, except for that last one. That last series was really good. I thought the last 2 series actually were really good play calling wise. But up until that, I would say it was bad. But that last play call where they show him on the line blitzing, they account for him. I saw them point him out when they were calling the protection. And then right before the snap, he bails out, gets up underneath Cam Coleman, forces the overthrow, game over. And that's something that's like, that's how you confuse a new starting quarterback. Like, I wish they would have done more of that in regulation. I wish they'd have done more of that at the beginning, where they're playing games with protection calls and really testing his ability to set the protection and really, but they just didn't do a lot of that stuff. And it was, again, it was another rough start. I thought they tackled better. I just think they were playing soft on this one. I thought the play calling was worse. Against Texas, they just looked like they just didn't know how to tackle or anything. This game was they were bad for a different reason. So it looked like they were working on their tackling. They were when they were able to get there, they tackled well. They just weren't there. They were just there were so many gaping wide gaps and holes in the defense. It was like, what are we doing? It looked like we didn't know what coverage was, or it looks like what coverage we were in. But it feels like Vandy is straying away from its identity as a long drive, time of possession team today. They had some fast, flashy stuff. Could be wrong, but I'm just glad we can do both. Yeah, I think, they've always struck me as a team that can adjust their style of play. And I wasn't sure how they were going to be able to handle it. I knew they were going to have to do some semblance of this because Auburn's so good against the run that they had to adjust somehow. And I was like, okay, if they can get some things going, like I said in my keys to the game, let me pull those up. Like, do what you do and be patient, establish a run, find things in the passing game. I.e. Eli Stowers. They did every bit of that. They were patient. They found a lot of things in the passing game, and they were able to come away with the victory. Again, here's the box score: 544 yards of total offense. Good Lord. 377 through the air, 167 on the ground. Diego Pavia counted for 489 of that. That's just insane, honestly. It's insane. But as we wrap up, I'm already in overtime here. Talking offensive play calling, no more planned Pavia runs. He should only run when he sees a lane. It's hard to say when you score 45 points and have 544 yards of total offense. It's hard to say that the offensive play calling was bad. There was a couple of series where it was questionable. I think you're more getting at where we got away from the, they had to do hurry up or they would have lost. To a certain degree, maybe. They had some things going in the passing game. They got into a rhythm is what happened, and they kind of stuck with it. Like Pavia was red hot. They were getting guys open. I think the play designs were great. I think the situational play calls were awesome. There was a screen they ran to Lassiter in a perfect situation where Auburn just pretty much sent the house. Was a great play call. I think, some of his scrambles, I think were ultimately great play calls, but, breakdowns in protection. Like they just couldn't get anything going in the run game. And you can't, you just can't keep ramming your head against the wall. I think there's a certain degree where you can just, keep them honest and keep trying. But like, if you're getting things going through the passing game, through the air, if you're being explosive, stick with it. If you can do it and they can't stop it, who cares? So I thought it was good in that regard. Appreciate you. Yeah, it was a great win all around. It was a great week, man. It was a great week of shows. And it was just, man, and again, we became the #1 sports podcasting network in the country. So thanks to all of you guys for your support. But when it comes to the play calling, I thought, if you're looking at play calling, I thought the defensive play calling was subpar. And I thought the offensive play calling was great. I think my camera's trying to tell me something. But again, it's just, and I'm going to talk about it this week on the show, like the identity shift. Is it a true identity shift? Is it something we've had to do because of circumstances? Or is it a level that we found that we can add later on? Like I think against Kentucky, we'll get back more towards what Vanderbilt is known for, but we do have that explosive passing game in our back pocket. I think the game pace against Tennessee, the game flow is going to dictate a very fast moving game. So I think we're trying to get ready for those type of games. Also, like if we're going to make a playoff run, we need that element of our offense. We need to be able to go score with people and not just try to play keep away and try to grind the clock all the time. Like I think that element of our offense needs to be there, and it's great that we found it. And I'm gonna end it there, right? I'm gonna end it there. Coverage of spread, not kicking the field goal. The way things are trending right now, we might be back to number 12 on Sunday. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, but hey, just keep winning. Give yourself a shot at the end. That's all you can ask for. But until next time, anchor down. Vanderbilt victorious, 45-38 in overtime. Diego Pavia absolute beast. As Clark Lee said, he's the best player in the country. I don't know what else to say. We're going to talk more about this. We're going to unpack more of this win this week. It's a bye week, so it's going to be fun, and we're going to get after it. We're going to keep this train rolling. Thanks to you guys. Thanks to everybody for listening, watching, however you found me. Thank you. Make sure you come back, and we'll see you back here next time. Until then, anchor down. Peace.